TIDES, and I'm joined by George Flores, Technical Solutions Manager at Asahi Kasei Bioprocess. Thanks so much for joining me today, George.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
In your opinion, what do you think oligonucleotides represent for the future of vaccine and therapeutic development, and what do you think their potential is?
We come from the equipment side, so here this week there's a lot of interesting talks about the chemistry side and some crazy potentials going on there. But with that said, I think the potential is pretty huge. I think oligos represent one of the highest potential modalities of today, and I think in many cases they are the future. We have a big bright spot in the industry. There's with the targeting and the specificity of these new drugs, it really opens up some new avenues that have never existed previously. So I think I've heard that there's somewhere around 10,000 indications, and we only maybe treat about 500 of them. So I think that there's a lot of potential there, and it's really exciting. It's an exciting place to be right now.
And what challenges do you think we need to overcome to reach that potential in terms of sort of the large-scale manufacturing?
I think when it comes to scale, a lot of it has to do with the chemistry. Again, I'm not a chemist by trade, but the things that happen easily at the small scale are maybe not as reproducible at large scale. There's some complexities, there's some challenges that arise. You're limited sometimes at the large scale. Things that you could easily do at the small scale no longer work. So you have to consider that and kind of work through the trade-offs of the large-scale manufacturing process.
And why is it so difficult to pinpoint the right size oligosynthesizer, particularly at manufacturing scale?
I think pinpointing isn't so difficult as it is understanding the process that goes into correctly sizing. I think there's really no one-size-fits-all when it comes to large-scale manufacturing. There's a lot of inputs to consider, individual context of a customer to account for. And so it's just a bit of a process to navigate through to make sure that you set forth on the right path.
And what inputs and perspectives need to be taken into consideration for that?
It starts with the process, I would say. We have to understand, is the client making one particular thing? Do they need flexibility? In some cases, you have a manufacturer who's making the same thing day in, day out. In other cases, we work a lot with CMOs who need a high level of flexibility. So we need to understand what it is they're targeting, what it is they need at the end, and then we can kind of go according to that. As far as the process, we do have to look at certain things like what solid support are you using, what's your loading, what scale are you looking to operate at, and from there we can kind of start piecing those inputs together and start putting together a solution.
And how do you correctly size oligosynthesizers for your manufacturing customers?
Yeah, so we start with those parameters that I just listed. We take a very collaborative approach with our clients, so we like to have a lot of hands-on with them, a lot of back and forth, truly understand what it is that they need, and then we can go from there. So we'll take all the inputs that I just talked about, and then we can start doing on our end as the equipment experts the appropriate sizing, given the limitations that we're of the equipment that we're building.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today, George.
Thank you. Appreciate it.